After leaving the consulate, our attention turned from American citizens abroad to those trying to immigrate into the U.S., as well as the policies regulating their entry. It brought us to a familiar organization. As we've reported, the Kino Border Initiative provides humanitarian aid to deportees and migrants at its comedor, about a quarter mile from the Mariposa port of entry. Now it's preparing for a long-awaited move across the street to a larger outreach center that offers nearly 50 times more space. Ahead of its opening, we got a tour from Father Sean Carroll. Inside the dining hall, towering paintings created by a local artist serve as its focal point.
The architect's vision and the artist's vision too is really to create something that was warm, and our hope is that when people walk in here and they see these murals, they feel that spirit of welcome, not only from us, our staff and volunteers here, but from God as well.
Faith coupled with determination led Kino Border Initiative to this milestone. Father Sean says the nonprofit successfully raised nearly $3 million over the last few years. It purchased this building in the summer of 2018 and began renovations a few months later.
Obviously, we're sitting in the dining area right now, so we'll be able to seat 160 people here.
In addition to being able to serve more people meals, Kino Border Initiative also has enough space to bolster its other services, like dozens of bunk beds that will allow it to shelter women and children upstairs and men downstairs. Who ideally goes in this space here?
So we're going to have men in this space, and 72 beds, so 36 bunk beds, and made by an ironworker here in Nogales, Sonora, so they're made by hand. And so they've come out really well. They're really solid and sturdy and really happy with the work that he's doing. We've also had a group of women making quilts. So every bed in this shelter and the one upstairs for women and children is going to have a handmade quilt.
Obviously, there can be liabilities when you have so many people in one space. How will Kino Border Initiative work to ensure that families are safe and secure when they're under this roof?
So we'll have security here at night, and we're continuing to develop our volunteer program, and so I think we'll have volunteers just to be present in case a child gets sick or there's some type of emergency. So really, we're in the process of looking at our protocols and procedures for working in the different spaces, because we've had a very different context up to now in terms of working in the comedor and working in the home that we rent for our shelter for women and children. But now we're going to be in a space where everything we do in Mexico is going to be under one roof.
Other features include 2 classrooms where the center can offer programs geared toward adults and children.
So we're going to be doing job training in this classroom and the other classroom that we have. So whether it's English or whether it's computer training, that could happen in these classrooms. But we're also hoping to offer some programming for the children.
So it's recognizing that people are here for an extended period and maybe they could get something out of it while they're...
Absolutely. One thing we're seeing is that there's so many children who have come with their families and they're not in school, and they're with their families on the street during the day, either outside our current center or going to home or from home to our center. And so what can we do that's formative, that's instructive, and that really provides, I think, a positive structure for them.
The new center also includes several offices that provide the luxury of privacy, where guests can meet with attorneys and social workers.
And part of the challenge is that when migrants, for example, are documenting an abuse with one of our staff people, or they're speaking to an attorney and they're talking about why they fled their state here in Mexico, or why they fled from Central America and the violence that they suffered there, or the threats or dangers to their lives or to the lives of their families that they experienced, it's very hard, very sensitive, and hard to do in such a public space. But in this new facility, we're going to have office spaces for those different services. And so when a migrant's speaking with an attorney or talking about abuse they experienced, they can do that in the privacy of an office and in a very open and welcoming space. And so we just feel wonderfully about that.
Ever-changing patterns in immigration at Arizona's border are woven into Kino Border Initiative's history. That's evident in the people who walk through its doors each day. Years ago, staff and volunteers served mostly single men from Mexico recently deported from the U.S. These days, they're more used to aiding an influx of families from southern Mexico and beyond here to seek asylum.
The dynamic has really shifted where we still have people been deported, but fewer than before. A lot of families coming north, particularly from the southern state of Guerrero right now, so in southwestern Mexico. And then since January 2nd, the U.S. government has been sending people back to Nogales under the migrant protection protocols. These are people who have requested asylum in the U.S., they've passed their credible fear interview, but instead of being released to a sponsor or a family member with a notice to appear, they're being sent back to Mexico. And at least in the case of Nogales, they're being given court dates in El Paso, Texas. And so they have to find a way to Ciudad Juarez in order to access the port there on their court date and in order to have their case adjudicated.
Obviously, the hope is that you wouldn't have to have this, but you have it. Do you see the need continuing?
I see the need continuing over time, and certainly with the current policies that are being implemented and probably other policies as well in the future that really, I think, disrespect the dignity of the people that we're serving.